Hello everybody and welcome to the Tranquility Gaming Valorant Swiftplay evening. My name is Zhobiii. I am joined by Aqua. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. I'm a little bit nervous since I've basically never played Valorant, so I have no idea what I'm doing. But
Well,
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's why I'm here for you, right? But I mean, both of us are here just giving our time because this is a charity event as part of obviously the Tranquility Season 11 event weekly fundraiser. But who are we fundraising for, Aqua?
For this week, we are fundraising Gamers Outreach, which is a organization that is meant to empower hospitalized children through video games, trying to build a world that prioritizes not only gaming but also research and development into medical
treatment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I personally love them as an organization, but we do have a video prepared to tell you a little bit more about what they are doing. All right, like I said, great organization. We're here for a great cause. But in addition to just know that you're donating for the goodness of your own heart, and for the fact that, you know, Mr. Yeti will have to eat a gross ice cream flavor, you actually can be affecting the game tonight and terrorizing our Tranquility staff members and friends. So what are some of the kind of incentives or the kind of coin tosses into our Swiftplays tonight that we have, Aqua?
So for a $10 donation, you are able to choose a staff member's agent. So if you know somebody's especially bad on a certain character, you can especially torture them tonight. You can also make them have to use only Sheriff for half a round, Knife for half a round, 15 for the Sheriff, 35 for the Knife. For another $10 donation, you can double a staff member's sensitivity. Yeah. I would hate that. And then for a whopping 50, you are able to just do whatever you want. Essentially, whatever you can think of, they have to do.
Yeah, no, I think personally for me, like, I think that choosing a staff member's agent is a great blow to them because, like, I'm a Killjoy main, so if somebody chooses, like, Reyna out of left field, I know I am going to struggle. So if you want to choose a staff member's agent that you know is on the team, you can go ahead and get those donations in now so that our wonderful admin and host of the evening, Geos, will be able to start communicating that with our staff and other members. I know I have a sneak peek at the lobby. Some people that you guys can choose the agents for, like I said, is Mr. Yeti, is Geos. So if you want to torture them or anybody else you recognize once we get the game started, that's something that you can do. And I do want to clarify that the Sheriff and Knife is not for half a round, Aqua, but for the entire half, because Swiftplays, right? That's only like 2 or 3 rounds. Exactly. So you're getting your money's worth with those, definitely.
Yeah, more value than I was putting on initially.
Exactly. All right. But either way,
here.
We are going to be jumping into our first game here in a little bit while we wait for the last 2 members to get into the lobby, which will be on Vine. But before that, Aqua, we are going to take a really quick break. So while we're gone, get your first donations in.
This is Mr. Yeti. I am proud to be here with a representative from Gamers Outreach. This is Stage. Welcome, Stage. Thank you so much for being here for this.
Hi, yeah, happy to be here. So, as you said, my name is Anastasia. I am the talent director here at Gamers Outreach. My main focus is working with different orgs, agencies, or even individuals that want to do fundraising and help support Gamers Outreach on their mission.
Wonderful. What a wonderful cause Gamers Outreach is. I guess for those who just might be tuning into our programming for the first time, haven't heard us say what we've already said about Gamers Outreach, why don't you tell us a little bit about what the goals and what Gamers Outreach does?
Sure. So, Gamers Outreach is a nonprofit. Our main focus is really enabling children to play while they are in hospitals. We do this through a bunch of different ways, but probably our most recognizable one is our project Go Kart, where we build portable gaming systems that we send into hospitals that the hospital staff can use, where they can move room to room and allow children of all ages to play and kind of have an escape from being in that hospital environment and a little bit of a sense of normalcy or doing things that maybe they normally did while they're at home in an environment that's pretty scary. Top of that, we have some other programs such as Player 2, where we even will send volunteers into the hospital, maybe to play games with the children or to provide updates on the carts and kind of assist the staff that are in the hospitals with the technology that we do send in.
Wonderful. That's an amazing cause. A lot of us here are very passionate about it. I feel like gamers can really unite behind
Oh, yeah.
this. My next question is just kind of how did Gamers Outreach get started? How long has it been around?
So, Gamers Outreach has been around for a long time. Our founder and CEO, Zach, actually started Gamers Outreach pretty much when he was in high school. There is a video on our YouTube channel if you're interested in like learning more of like an in-depth story. But basically, he was organizing a Halo LAN, and the people in the local community called the cops and got it shut down. And this is back that many, many years ago, where video games had a much more negative stigma than they do today, where he then turned around and organized a second LAN. And this time he wanted to do it for, charity to show that games can do good and that originally shutting it down wasn't really necessary. So he ended up raising funds and they made donations to the local hospitals. From there, he ended up building the first ever go kart and they sent it into a local hospital. And other hospitals from around the country in the United States actually started contacting him saying, like, hey, we saw what you did for this hospital. This is really great. Can you, build us one? We would really be able to use that in our hospitals as well. And from there, it has expanded from him basically building all the things and getting donations and stuff at his parents' house to a nonprofit where we have a bunch of people working on this. And, we're no longer in Zach's parents' basement, kind of putting these go-karts together and have a more formal thing where we're able to produce, hundreds of go-karts, thousands of go-karts a year, hopefully, and get them sent out to more hospitals than just kind of the few that he would be able to do when he was younger.
Now, if that isn't an example of gamers coming together to do something bigger than just gaming, I don't know
Oh,
what
for
is.
sure.
I guess obviously you brought up the go-karts, but what else do the kids get an opportunity to do? I mean, obviously you get to play with some systems. What kind of games are they gravitating towards?
Yeah, so all of our go-karts have a bunch of different games on them just because a game that I may want to play maybe isn't the same game that you would want to play, or in the same vein, maybe a 5-year-old wants to play a certain game, but a 15-year-old wouldn't. So we do try to have a wide variety of games that are on there. Generally, if they're general patient cards, they are games that are appropriate for all ages, although there are also adult or teenage cards that maybe have more mature games on there. How many games in their range, but they do come preloaded with anything from 20, 30, 40 different games in there. And again, what people like the most varies, although I will say Minecraft is probably the most popular game on our carts as a whole, just because I feel Minecraft doesn't matter how old you are or what your interests are. If you're, a little child or you've never played a video game before, you can kind of pick it up. And the big thing is you can kind of escape into a different world, which if you're in the hospital, you probably don't want to be thinking about the hospital. And the world of Minecraft is really, so vast that you can just kind of escape into it day in and day out and see something new, build something, and kind of ignore the hospital environment that you're in.
Wonderful. Now, obviously, this whole event that we're running here in Tranquility is all about raising money for Gamers Outreach. And I guess a lot of people want to know, what specifically do the donation dollars go towards? What are they building with the money that we're sending over?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of the funds do go to the go-karts. We have a very large fleet, as we call it, of go-karts. We're in over 390 healthcare facilities. We are in every state in the US, and we actually last year went global. So we're now in 9 different countries and are expanding further out. So one, that is where a lot of the money goes, is actually building those carts and sending them out. Some things that people may not realize is that we actually do maintain those carts as well. So if you're donating, it's not like we send a cart out and that's that. If something breaks, or maybe you don't want to play a 10-year-old version of FIFA or whatever that is, we do have to kind of provide care for those carts for years to come, just because they are in that hospital environment and they are maybe getting beat up over time, although they do withstand pretty much most things. But if you have a 10-15-year-old cart or whatever it is, there may be a little bit of wear and tear. Maybe the controller buttons are sticky or something like that, and they need to be replaced. So it does go towards all of those repairs and things like that. Additionally, we are also always launching new programs. So for example, we have a program that we're launching and kind of testing in a couple different hospitals called Save Point, which I say think of them as kind of like upscale vending machines where we put stuff in there. Whether it is squishmallows or game codes or mouse pads or things for all different age ranges. And then the patients that are in the hospital can go down to these kind of Save Point machines and get something nice to take back to the room and when they leave the hospital. So maybe you're paying for stuff to go into these machines, or even the machine to be built. And then a really, really exciting thing, I don't know if you've seen or if anybody watching has seen, is we are actually upgrading the go-kart model. So the brand new model of go-karts is currently in production. So sometimes donations go towards even upgrading the toolkits that we have. So that way, the go-karts right now are easier to ship once this new model comes out, which means that we can also send it internationally much easier. And that is a really big, I think, advancement just for Gamers Outreach as a whole, is that we're not only helping children in the US, but now we can help even more children worldwide and ship it at a more cost-effective price point, which means that those donations can go further. If we had to pay double for shipping, now we're paying half of that. We can ship more go-karts.
Awesome. Love to hear. Love everything here. And I love the upgrades that are coming. The fact that you guys
Oh, yeah.
maintain it. So cool. My final question, obviously, we're asking for financial donations here, but the question is how can people participate and try to
I'm going to throw up a fundraiser, and if you want to donate instead of giving me a birthday gift or whatever that is, you can do that as well. If you're on social media, we post a lot on our accounts just talking about the different events that we're hosting or updates and things like that. So even just kind of engaging in those, or again, maybe sharing it with other people, just that way people are aware of what Gamers Outreach is doing. I don't think people sometimes realize just how much talking about what the mission is and the things that are being accomplished can end up helping the nonprofit as a whole. Outside of that, we have a Discord that you're able to come in and you can talk and interact with. When we're doing charity streams, which we host a couple events a year, if you just want to tune in on any of those streams and interact with the people that are doing the fundraisers and things like that, you're giving them additional engagement, which means more people will see their charity stream. And if you can't donate, maybe somebody else does come in. We also have contests and things like that. So for example, our upcoming spectacular streamathon event that we're hosting in October, there's an art contest. So maybe you don't want to donate, but you want to try to draw something for the contest and things like that. And then again, I did mention earlier, we have that Player 2 volunteer program. So maybe you want to volunteer and there's a hospital that's local to you. You could go to our website, fill out that form, and maybe if we have some kind of opportunity in the hospital working with the carts or whatever that may be, and we kind of call on you to help and say, hey, we do need help with X, Y, and Z. And there is one last thing. This is not money, but if you have an older console or something like that that you do not want to use anymore, there is also a address on our website that you could technically, send those in, and then we can use those cards as donate. Oh, not cards, the consoles and stuff, for donations towards our cards. So I think there's a lot of different ways that you can get involved, and even just kind of being engaged and following what we do is probably the biggest thing.
Wonderful. The website is gamersoutreach.org. Everybody, go check it out. Let's just show that the power of play can go a long way for these kids, guys. And remember, if you want to donate, hit !donate in the chat, and that's how you're going to be able to donate for these streams. Also, the Tiltify links are going to be found on Twitter, on our Discord. There's so many different ways to donate, guys. Thank you so much, Stage. We appreciate it, and thanks for all you're doing with Gamers Outreach.
So, welcome back, everyone. During the downtime that we have had a anonymous donor give a solid $10 to make Mr. Yeti play Astra. Now, I have no idea what this means. However, I'm sure Zhobiii does.
Yeah, I can talk about Astra. It's one of my favorite Smokes characters to play. But we got insider information that Mr. Yeti not only does not play Smokes, but has never played. Yeah, never played Astra in their life, never even unlocked the agent. So in the sake of charity, they not only had to buy the agent, but will be forced to play it on our first map of Bind, which we are already getting ready to jump into Agent Select 4. So that means we have had our donation total brought up to $13.60, so we are only about $140 away from punishing Yeti further to make them eat more gross ice cream. But for now, let's enjoy some Swiftplays, Aqua.
I am ecstatic to watch as Yeti fumbles around on Astra. This is going to be fun.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Like, Astra, if you don't know, guys, is one of the more complex mechanically with their astral form going in and out of it in order to place and use utility. And then that Cosmic Divide is only useful in certain key token situations. Otherwise, though, the agent's compositions aren't looking too shabby at all. At least on the left side, where there's actually people hovering.
So we already have Mr. Yeti, obviously, in Astra. Bubblewire, I believe that is Chamber, and then Geos is thinking about Viper. As for the attackers, they're still figuring it out. Looks like maybe Phoenix is going to go Sage, but I have no idea how this is going to play out, to be honest.
Yeah, and in the meantime, though, while Agent Select has been going on, we've gotten $40 more in donations, so we are up to $1,400 just like that. Otherwise, though, I'm excited to see if Swing is in fact gonna go with this Reyna pick. We talked about some meme agent picks, and she is one of them. Not really used too much in competitive play, but they are a self-sufficient duelist if you are playing with individuals that don't play Valorant too often, like some of the staff players, like some of the guests joining us on the Valorant Swiftplays tonight.
We're also going to see Glitch mirror the Astra against Mr. Yeti, so it's going to be interesting, fascinating to watch as the two of them decide to go about how they want to play this.
Yeah, I think Glitch knew that Mr. Yeti was going to be forced to play Astra, and the fact that Glitch is a fill player that can play more than one role, I think we're about to see a masterclass and a first-time Astra user, which I think will be a fun contrast nonetheless. Otherwise, though, I do think that both of these teams have their advantages and disadvantages. Bubble Wyatt on the Chamber will ensure that they have a trip for the flank, versus the Sage doesn't provide that, but the Sage does give kind of that resurrection, that second life over to potential key duelists like Chimancy, like Swing might be for their team.
Right, yeah. Also, like, it correct me if I'm wrong, but like having Reyna, Jet, and Jet makes the attacking side have much more of a selfish composition, as I'd like to describe it. Like, they're all most everyone's playing for themselves except for maybe the Sage.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, also, obviously, the Sky has that regrowth, so that is a healing ability. But what I like about having the double duelist is, number one, they're starting on the attack. So as long as the duelist entry, right, then they're not going to be selfish. They're doing their job. But I also am interested to see if we're going to see Chimancy on the operator once they switch over to that defense, because if you have only one duelist like the Rays that the defenders have, then you really can't be on that operator because you're expected to kind of be that fragging individual, the one that does get a little bit more aggressive, versus now you can let the Reyna do that while you sit back on truck with an operator holding down A main or something similar over on the B side.
Right, yeah, like being able to hold these angles while the duelist goes in to initiate to create the space for the rest of the team is going to be, I think, pretty important for this for the situation that they're in. I'm not entirely sure what Viper does.
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit on that, right? That's another difference between these compositions that you did point out, Aqua, is that we have double smokes or double controllers on the defense versus that, like you said, double duelist on the attackers. And the good thing about the double smokes, especially on bind, is you usually see that that Viper consistently have that wall up on one site, because you have that kind of smokes player to depend on for a B execute. So you kind of have that uncertainty over on the A side of if the Viper is in fact there, or if their wall is just that red herring where you don't know where they're playing at, given a round, given a potential lurk for their team.
Right. A lot of what I think, from my little experience with Valorant, is like a lot of it does come down to psychologically messing with your opponents, like
Yeah.
no, like getting into their head and making them think that you're doing something that you're not.
Yeah, no,
Which I'm
completely.
bad.
And
That's besides the point.
yeah, no, I completely agree. And as we said that Viper wall is great for the A site, that's exactly where they are starting to head. It looks like it's going to be a pretty stark explosion on the A site, starting with that pain shell to deny any aggression. Sparks definitely going to be the first form of contact here from the Trailblazer, concussing them here on bench. They're forced to invest both satchels to get away on the truck.
What the dog doing?
Exactly. The dog is currently delaying the showers push, but it's not even going to be enough. Sparks will get the first pick, opening up the round to hold down this A site. But do they know that 3 are actually on short, Aqua?
Maybe? Do they? I'm not entirely sure. They seem to be just waiting around as of now, just maybe preparing to, like, for a re-engage.
Yeah, I mean, the barrier wall is going to slow that down, right? And I'm afraid because the sky's on an island, but at least plant gets down, right?
Right. Like, it's still pretty even, but we are going to see Glitch be able to get the spike down, which is going to reset the timer for the attackers.
Yeah, but they're going to be running out of time if you're defenders, because Wettest Potato is going to fall, followed by Geos. So now it's Bubba White left in the 1v4 situation, and Glitch has brought a ghost to the face to secure the first round on the board for the... I was going to say defenders, but I think they're currently obviously on the attack.
I'd like to also point out that Bubble White just got completely domed right there. Like,
Oh, yeah.
right at the end.
I mean, that's the great thing about that barrier wall, right? Is that it does provide those choke points that you're forced to go into, in that case, U-Haul.
Yeah, choke points are not really that ideal to, like, have to push through, because, like, of how, like, it's an easy way, it's a surefire way of, like, knowing where somebody's going to be attacking, is they have to go, if you're forced to go through a choke point, they're not really in a great position.
Oh, speaking of choke points and great positions here, Mr. Yeti, the Lear comes out to deny them the kills from that tight corner with the judge. And so they are completely disrespecting this toxic screen from Geos, pushing their way into sight. And although Swing is able to get one, it's going to be Wettest Potato there to hold down the site, isolating the members that are left in hookah here.
Yeah, but Wettest Potato is able to find 2, evening the score back out, and is actually going to be holding this angle very closely here. Chimanzi, maybe find something?
Ooh, yeah, no, great aftershock to force his members back in to be short, where, I mean, they've kind of just been waiting to see if there's any over-aggression. They've been trying to collect information, but with that information, with that breach utility and the information that the Rays had rotated over, they think A is the less stacked site here, but that is going to be false information in this case. Not only do you have Bubba Wyatt with the Marshall, but you also have Sparks here with a Shorty right on the corner of U-Haul.
Yeah, and we also have Bubble Wyatt just on the sniper rifle, ready to, like, completely destroy them at any moment.
I mean, yeah.
As I say that, Swing goes down.
Exactly. In the meantime, though, all of this pressure is left on Sparks. Like we said, only the Shorty, the satchels, though, might just be enough off the fault line. And suddenly the Shorty provides the 1v1 situation where Wettest Potato, the one who opened up the round, is the one to close it for the defenders. And they will tie things up at 1-1, Aqua.
Yeah, I really think Wettest Potato was able, like, I think got 4 there, like, out of the 5 people that on the attacking side was there. Wettest Potato has been putting up a very good performance right now so far. Also has a bat. I respect the bat.
Yeah, no, completely. Otherwise, though, it looks like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The defenders are kind of holding on to this 3-2 split, with the Rays being the one to rotate fluidly around the map. The difference is, you said they had the sniper rifle last time, but that Marshall has been upgraded to the operator. And I mean, look at that. The Nebula kind of blocking their shot here a little bit. So it will protect Swing for now. The Cosmic Divide as well being invested to show how Glitch knows that that ultimate works. They should be able to have a pretty free sight so far, unless Sparks has something to say about it.
Yeah, lots of smoke right now on the battlefield. Just a little bit strange on what's happening. Glitch is going to be maybe able to get the plant off?
Oh.
Yes, so it's now on the defenders to figure something out here.
Yeah, we're trying to see some grim action from the Phoenix Sage, but it doesn't quite work out, so Smugs is left alone on bench. They don't clear the angle, so they're good for 2 before Wet as Potato finally shuts them down, leaving Chimancy in 1v2. You don't quite know where they are, though. The position finally being revealed in Shower as the Poison Cloud goes up. They are going to, in fact, invest the Rolling Thunder for the knife kill, and it won't come through. They might have thrown as Chimancy gets the 2v1 clutch.
Oh, no.
Oh my god,
Those
what
are
is
the melee kills as well.
I know, they just threw.
Yeah, Chimancy was able to just create a solid performance there right at the end to just take out three initially, and then like as soon as like everybody else started dying, was able to just continuously stay alive, but at the same time finding kills on their own, which is exactly what you kind of need as Jet, that duelist performance to be able to like carry when you need to be able to.
Yeah, no, completely. And I mean, what else can we ask for, right? What is Potato trying to be that entertainment factor, considering this is, you know, a charity event? But the aggression from them this round is going to be met equally and even more so, as the attackers are going to come away with that numbers advantage, being able to trade Glitch out. But on the other side of the map, similar aggression is being found and deleted by Swing, who has had this quick pivot on to an uninhabited A site, which the Seekers will in fact confirm. So Plant should be easy to go down, and it'll have to be a 2v4 retake if they want a chance at securing a tied game yet again.
Yeah, I also think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Empress by the Reina player did come out for a little bit, but I might be wrong. Oh,
Might have.
dead.
I might have
Did
missed it
Juice
too.
get
Either way, though.
Yeah, we also see that the spike is again coming out, so. But this might not be a great situation for the defenders since this is a 2v3 with the initiate to attack. 1v3.
Yeah, and although Geos tries to make way into U-Haul like their former teammate who fell there as well, Mugs is saying, I can do all of the work for my team to pull them into a further lead. 3-1 now. And because it's Swiftplay, that's the half, right? So you're switching sides, your economy is reset, and we're going to have a pistol round yet again.
Right, as we say that. Also, while we've been talking, we have gotten 2 $20 donations by Glitch and Pinecode. Your donations are very much appreciated. Bring us to 1,400.
Like, so I say, I think Bomba will have to pick being found either way until Sparks is able to get that, gain the space, even force Smugs back to get the heal from the stage.
Right, we did see that the defenders did come out swinging a little bit, but as soon as they did, the attackers were able to just completely counter it, unfortunately.
Ooh, but Phoenix is up to their games yet again with this Grimwall action, with the hold on U-Haul being tight and Chimancy on the flank. That trip is nowhere to be found because it's the first round, but the shots are whiffed and Geos will reclaim that fountain control, further establishing the idea that they are going to rotate. Short control being taken, Psych uninhabited, and I mean Sparks. Like I said, you might only have one duelist, but if they're doing their job, that is all you need. They've taken backside control. They're about to push into CT as well to cut off some of these rotates. As Spike gets planted, I'm expecting we'll see those be player rotations.
Right, and also the defenders right now are in a 4v3 situation. GS is going to be able to successfully get the plant off, and now it's up to the defenders to be the ones to attack, but I would not necessarily like the position that they're currently in, especially Sparks' little cheeky smoke.
The guiding light is out, but Sparks still here as we go on to a 2-3 into our 6th round.
Yeah, as you said, I also like to point out that Mr. Yeti was able to find two there successfully before dying, which did put the attackers in a very favorable position since uh, the defenders had to attack from two different sides, but like, they weren't really able to do so in a timely manner. Which, like, even if they had gotten the kill onto Geos, I don't think they would have been able to necessarily get the spike defused in time.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, that's why you have those insurance policies, those players not aggressing while the other ones do. Either way, though, we had a little quick pause to make sure that you guys don't miss any action here, but we are
Actually, we're
back
back.
into the swing of things, and it looks like once again the attackers are going to start off feud towards this B side, but yet again Phoenix is there, the Sage, with the little cheeky Sage wall. In the meantime, though, Wet as Potato will punish that jump peek from swing out of garden. I'm interested, though. They have a Bucky. They don't have a long-range weapon to punish individuals, so they are going to be fully dependent here on this Sage wall. Question is, will any of the attackers be prepared for this off angle? So far, the double satchel over the wall will fail, but it does confirm that they're in fact up there, so everybody is prepared. And it's actually, like I said, first blood for the defenders is from that Sage, is from that hookah, control further solidified.
Yeah, Phoenix right now playing for high risk, high reward.
Oh.
They were able to find a kill as well. Smugs might die here as well.
Yeah,
Play very carefully.
I think this is where you start to see the disadvantages of having somebody not comfortable with Astra. Is there's no smokes for the execute, so you're giving these fights over. Because of that, it is this 3-3 now. 3v3, they've had to rotate over, but now they have no more smokes left. I mean, the wall was invested on the B site, and they have no information about where any of these players are.
And with Spike down, the situation has once more flipped. However, it is an even situation for both sides, as time is roughly minute, I would want to say, and then it is still a 3v3 situation.
Yeah,
but
but
it's still anyone's game.
Weapons are slightly in favor here of the attackers, and so is the time, and now, in fact, the numbers. But like you said, Geos is so low here that it could be anybody's game. But even with that low HP, they are still fragging. Phoenix with that upgraded shotgun will not have enough time, and it's once again the knife styling coming out from Wet as Potato. This time it won't lose them the round, only give Phoenix the 4K.
Yeah, Phoenix was able to get the 4K, but still time ran out for the defenders, which is very unfortunate. Not much at that point Phoenix could have done there.
Either way, though, 3-3. This is a very close game. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if this went to sudden death, which is the overtime version of Swiftplay when both members get to 4-4 and sides swap back. But I mean, this is the round where you definitely want to start closing things out. Where you have full rifles, and you even have Bubble Wyatt on the operator.
Right. The operator is going to be very important to like control these long sight lines.
Yeah.
You can see I think the attackers are wanting to block a B side here. However, defenders have left it a little bit more open.
They definitely made some changes, right? They usually had 4 long, 1 hookah. Now they have that lurking raise instead. And it's actually Wet as Potato to get the first pick from this high-low Grimwall situation. And they quickly follow it up with another on to Glitch. So I don't think they're going to be rotating here anytime soon. Site's been taken, and it's going to have to be a post-plant situation. If they even get the opportunity, Sparks quickly aggressing into CT, trying to deny this opportunity, and just like that, Chimancy's left in the 1v5 situation. And they won't even be able to find one for the flawless in favor of the attackers.
That is tragic. I don't think many resources were even used by the attackers there either, so that is a very good heavy advantage within the attacking side. Phoenix is going to be pulling out the Gatling gun, I believe. I'm not sure if that's the correct name for it though.
Which one?
The machine gun.
Oh, the machine gun is the Odin, but I think they've retired that idea. They don't want to meme too much further. In fact, the other big boy gun, the Operator, is going to come out from Phoenix here to maybe try and contest Bubba Wyatt, who has the same idea. Regardless, though, they've incorrectly stacked the B site. It's a quick pivot over to A, and the execution off the Showstopper into back site as well so far. But nobody is knocking, nobody is home, which will even allow the Viper's Pit to come out. And it's looking like a GG. I don't know about that, Aqua.
I'm not entirely sure either. Geos is able to get the plant down. The defenders are not really in a good position either. They're very split, and like where they are split, they have to stack angles, which is not necessarily great either.
Yeah, I mean, time is ticking away though, right? They do have this pinch play going on, but if they can't find any fights, if they can't find any players, then they won't gain any grounds, which is exactly what is happening here. 2v3 though, as they take the Viper's Pit down and even get somebody on the spike, but the fault lines and the backstab from Wettest Potato is going to be the final nail in the coffin. Both out of ammo, both with no weapons, and it's going to be the knife play yet again as Spike expires and they get the knife killed. Third time is the charm, Aqua.
Third time is the charm, and they're able to round out. Wettest Potato is able to round out this match with the melee into victory.
Such a poetic and cinematic end to our first Swift play match there on Vine. And I want to point out something, Aqua, is that I think Mr. Yeti didn't use any of their utility that entire game. That was their solution to the problem that the donation brought upon them.
Just out mechanics them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just treat it as a CSGO match and you can maybe win.
That's exactly what they did, and they fully leaned into that Viper utility, and that is so funny.
I mean, if it works, it works. It's not like we're in an Ascendant lobby.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But I do want to point out that Glitch did, get 3 kills, 0 deaths against Mr. Yeti. So that plus, I think, like their Cosmic Divide and their utility usage, even though they lost the game, I do think it makes them stand out in the better Astra.
Yeah, I think overall, like in that regard, yes, they were the better Astra, but they still lost.
That is true.
Which is
and
what
it's a
is
team
important.
game. Team game, guys. Team game.
Always blame your teammates, never yourself.
Exactly. And we are gonna get, I believe, a few new players in. For example, Oni stepping in here, and I'm trying to figure out who else we might be having. Maybe Fifi Wonder. But we're getting everybody together into the lobby. But I guess, what are you looking forward to kind of moving forward in our later Swift plays so far?
I'm personally hoping that somebody does like, like those weird like TikToks you see where it's like these like stupid angles for like certain like abilities that like go halfway across the map. I want to see at least one.
That would make sense. I mean, we got to see some Grim Sagewell action. We got to see some double satchels, but no like god double satcheling, so that would be kind of cool. I'm trying to think about what else could be those kind of showstopper moments.
Doesn't Viper have something that could work like that?
They used to have a glitch where the Viper Wall would send the player with it as it was deployed, but as I said, that was a bug that got patched. It was so funny when it was happening. That should have
been a feature.
No, it should have been. They had something very similar, like with the Silva Recon Bolt that got patched, but I mean, we also can do like God Viper's Pits that we haven't really seen. I think Icebox is a map that's good for that, but pretty sure that one's not in the pool this evening. And yeah.
That is unfortunate for me. I guess besides funny angles, I'm mostly just here to watch Valorant.
Yeah, no, completely. And I believe we are, like I said, getting ready to jump into the second map. But in the meantime, guys, reminders that we do have our incentives up for play. And you have to get those donations in between maps to ensure that we get them kind of, I guess, in effect when we jump into the map. So quick reminder of those is that $10 will each choose a staff member's agent. You saw there that Mr. Yeti on the Astra just didn't use any of the utility as a sort of, I guess, demonstration or protest against that agent picked. You have $15 for Sheriff only for the entire half. So it's those like 3 to 4 rounds. You have also knife only for a half, which, I mean, we almost saw Wet as Potato just doing that out of their own choice. So you can see the kind of chaos it
Respect
will
the
bring.
grind.
Exactly. You have $10 to double a staff member sensitivity, so those players that you might have seen that were carrying for their team, like maybe like Sparks or maybe like Swing, those are the people that you can also kind of nerf. Or finally, if you have your own creative idea, for $50, you can have a Valorant custom challenge where you can make any staff member suffer under whatever constraints you would like, within reason, of course.
I think an even better idea would be like lower the sensitivity to as little as possible.
Oh my god, you have to like go completely across your desk just to go like an inch.
No, you need like multiple desks around you, like in a circle, so like even move like 90 degrees.
It'd be so funny. But either way, we are waiting on one more player. But then we'll get to whatever map pick we will get. What map is your favorite here in Valorant? I know you don't play too much, but is there any that you can have in the depths of your memory that you would love to see?
So the one that I remember most fondly is when I played with one of my former teammates.
Mhm.
I believe it's called Icebreaker. Like it's
Icebox, yeah.
Icebox, yes. I also I was for some reason like I had this is like one of the, like the second maybe ever time I had played it.
Yeah.
I ran down like one of the angles, like did not scope in, was full sprinting, and was able to headshot someone.
Yeah, that's a Val moment for you. But fun fact I will tell you is that Icebox hasn't been in the pool for quite some time, so we're kind of like wondering here as like Valorant fans if it's gonna be a massive rework or what exactly changes they're making for it to have been out for so many episodes. Either way, though, we are getting ready to jump into our next map. As players are ready, and we're gonna be it'll be Haven actually.
Haven?
Yeah, we're going to Haven, which I think is a Valorant classic, you know?
I have no idea, so I'll just take your word for it.
I mean, okay, it's 3 sites instead of the 2, right? So what do you make of that? Like, there's more options, right? For bomb
So there is more options, however, that does mean that there are more likely to be, I want to say, individual skirmishes between players, because of, like, just, like, inherently having a third point means that there's going to be more split areas from one another.
Yeah, no, completely. Like, those defenders are definitely spread more thin, which is why kind of Haven's more viewed as this terror-sided, as this attacker-sided map here. But I think, in addition, there's kind of like a fleshed-out, quote-unquote, composition on this map that's kind of the go-to. So like we talked about how in Bind, or even before we started, that there's kind of meme agents that you can have. Bind doesn't really have as many of those, but Haven definitely does. Like you don't expect to see really like a Deadlock on this map. You don't expect to see kind of trying to think what other agents. You don't really expect to see, say, like a Fade. So it'll be interesting to see if we have those, or if you want to get your last minute donations. It does look like somebody has redeemed $15 for the Sheriff only for a half. So let's
In
see.
fact, that would be from our commissioner himself,
I know,
Mr. Yeti.
But who is being forced to do this?
That is the better question, actually. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, we're gonna ask now though to get you that insider information, and it looks like it's Chamancy who will be forced to go Sheriff only. That is brutal.
I mean, Chamancy did put up a very decent performance last map, so having to only Sheriff is going to be a huge hindrance to whatever side that he is going to be playing on initially.
Yeah, and we didn't get to see them really opping too much on Bind, but Haven is an operator-heavy map, so if they take that opportunity away from them, C-Long might be more vulnerable. Either way, though, we're moving into Agent Select here, Aqua, and we're seeing mirror chambers, which is interesting.
Swing is also looking to maybe go Sova, Phoebe with the Viper. I'm not entirely sure what exactly that means. However, I do know with Sova, the utility of like scouting is going to be very useful ahead of time.
Yeah, no, it definitely gets great information, which is why we might be seeing that mirror with Sparks hovering the Sova. But what's interesting to me here is with the Phoenix locking in the Yoru pick. We saw them play aggressive angles with the Sage Grimwalls, but this is a little bit of a 180 from that Sage to now a duelist pick. And I'm hoping it, will help them frag out a little bit more, considering that Chamancy, who was the duelist on Bind as the Jet, is now taking up a little bit more of that support role as the Brimstone. Maybe to account for that Deagle only requirement for the half.
Yeah, having only the Deagles going, being able to have the util to compensate for it is going to be very important for them. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, we are going to see the Sova mirror as well. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. I'm loving these team comps, right? We have the double initiators, but we're having two geckos, and I feel like Gecko. I personally love Gecko, and I know it's one of the newer agents, so you might not know too much about them, Aqua. But like, number one, they're basically a Pokemon trainer, right? And they have these different little guys that are their abilities. But like, you cannot have a bad time playing Gecko in my eyes. Like, as long as you're using the utility, you are having fun on the agent. So I'm excited to see it, since we don't really see it too much in competitive play that I'm used to casting. So I can't wait to see what they bring out on Haven for them.
You had me at Poke.
Obviously, Chamber is a very weapon heavy Sentinel, so their kit includes a trip for the flank, which is great as the Sentinel, but then the rest of their utility is more for taking duels, which is interesting as a Sentinel, right? They have this rendezvous, which is essentially a teleportation within a certain range out of danger, and then their other one is basically just a free sheriff, where you buy individual bullets for it. It has an ADS, so it's a little bit more precise, and then their kind of ultimate ability is actually like this higher firing range operator. So like I said, they are the aggressive Sentinel. Like, yes, they hold down sites, but it's by getting frags, not by their utility in its own right. So I think on a map like Haven, where, like I said, you usually see Jets in chat where it's saying Chimancy is saying, little do you know, but the sheriff only is a buff for them. So we'll see if that is true by the end of the Swift play.
Let's see if Chimanzi can put the money where the mouth is.
Exactly.
You're going to have to wait a little bit, though. Just wait for time for it to actually start. It does look like the attackers are going to want to go C site, which, given the map, it looks like it has a very long open range, which is going to be ideal for what we were talking about with Chamber.
And they're just going to send Wingman in to the front lines to fight their battles out here. But Wingman will die on sight, as it does pull the rotation from the Chamber in Garage. Either way, though, that's going to be a confrontation here. See, quick flanks coming out, and that Daisy going to be getting two players, so it affords them one pick, but they quickly overwhelm the other counterpart. Sparks there. The interesting thing, though, look at this. They haven't rotated out. They've just cut noise and are holding where they are.
I mean, if you don't necessarily need to leave, then staying is not necessarily a bad option either, given that the position that the attackers are currently in is they have gotten no space out of this. They have only received casualties, especially now that the Viper's also at 1 HP.
And I could be wrong, but I believe Chimancy might have been the one to get the kill off of Mr. Yeti, hence the chat saying that it was karma there. So I think that's a great way to open up the game when you're forced to sheriff only. But with 30 seconds left, they have repivoted onto this A site, where even though Phoebe Wonder is really low HP, they only have Phoenix on the Yara here waiting, and they'll even be able to force them further into CT to wait for the rotations from the rest of their team.
Yeah, that's like the opposite of what you want, especially as the plant comes out. Attackers are... It is good that the attackers were able to reset the timer and get control of A point. But again, their position, I would say, is still not ideal, especially given that Chamber is currently trying to look at two different positions.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, I mean, they look like they had good positions, that they were trying to play time, but they were playing, like you said, pretty divided. So if you have the numbers advantage and you can set up crossfires like that, you have a pretty good recipe for a flawless retake like they did. So they do walk away with 3 of those weapons. They walk away with the first round on the board, and it will be GG go next round.
GG's go next. Hope for the best.
Exactly.
Build a deagle. We are going to see the lower tier sniper rifle. I'm not necessarily sure on the name of it, but Geos is going to be picking it as well as Bubble Eye.
Mm-hmm. But I do like this Marshall pick from both sides, both chambers, in fact, just proving my fact that those sniper rifles are the way to go. But this is a cool use of the rendezvous that you saw, is that you can use it to get on top of this box here on the seaside and hold that high-low angle that they were trying to do together with Chimancy. But no real bullets, I mean, no real damage other than bullets being exchanged. And the first exchange actually is going to be from this over-aggression by the attackers into A main, leaving Sparks on an island, who will be good for 1, but is ultimately traded out, evening the playing field at a 3-3. Minus the health disadvantage that their own Gecko is at on the attackers. And they're even on the island here. Mr. Yeti taken out of the picture by the counterpart Smugs on the other team.
Yeah, I think what really sealed Mr. Yeti's fate there was trying to walk through the acid there. Which, just having that little bit of extra HP could have gone the distance for Mr. Yeti there.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the benefits of Gecko is that ultimate, which is the big Pokemon, right? Is that it does stun you, or I guess it should be, I forgot what the official phrasing is, but you cannot move at all. And so you get those knife kills pretty free.
Yeah, a very tragic situation to be in, but still very funny.
Yeah, no, completely. You saw them pleading for their life, and they're just like, nah, knife kill.
Not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. So that does bring us to a 2-0 though, Akko. And I mean, like, what do you think that the attackers have to change, right? I mean, they've been getting plants down both of these rounds, but what else is going wrong?
Not dying, not. I mean, it sounds stupidly simple, but it's not going into initial sight lines and using the Sova's utility to actually know where the enemy is going to be very important for them. Especially given that they know the situation of how they have to figure something out regarding that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they figured something out, finally recognizing the aggression that's been coming out of the attackers. They're able to take Smugs out of the picture pretty fast out the gate, but they haven't been able to find the Sova in window, who will be good for 1, stripping them of their own information. And now they're even getting double teamed from Chimancy on site, but there it is, that Deagle only requirement showing its due course, putting now the attackers finally in a disadvantaged situation, or sorry, the defenders in a disadvantaged situation in this 2v4 situation with a Viper's Pit online. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, the situation is looking to be a little bit more favorable for the attackers. Ultimates do come out.
Spike planted.
We're still just kind of waiting though for something to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's what that Viper's Pit does, though. It kind of stalls out any of the fights, any of the exchanges. But I'm interested in this chamber on top of the boxes here, and because of that, they'll even be afforded that CT player. And they even are able to get the other one. It's like a camera in the sky, just being that information gatherer, while the rest are hiding and waiting.
Yeah, and as I did talk a little about, the attackers did not die early.
Yeah.
So, good job. We did see that Chimancy's deal is now actually becoming a tad bit of a hindrance.
Hey, I mean, this is the last round though that they're tied to these shackles, since it is only for 1 half, and as you saw last round in this half. So they'll be, when they get onto the attacking half, which like I said, this is attack sided, they'll be in full spirits here and full weaponry.
Yeah, it's going to be very important for I think the defenders to really secure this third victory before they switch over to attack. Is as it stands right now, they do play a little bit split. Oh, what's happening here?
Oh my goodness, we did just see that chamber on chamber exchange, C long, Bubba White with a standard operator, and Geos with that tour de force. Like I said, that extra speed, that extra upgraded operator, and it shows how it is superior there. So once again, numbers advantage early on going in favor though of these defenders. So I mean, even though like I said, Chimancy, the only one dead, is the one that's been hindered by that sheriff. It hasn't done much to the defensive strength.
Yeah, but we are going to see the rotation over to A point here. Firebolt does come out, but I would honestly rather be the defenders in this situation, even with the spike coming down. as a save.
Yeah, and just like that, 3-1 lead. That is what you want to see here. And although, like we said, Chimancy will... I mean, I want to say not only is that what you want to see here, but now Chimancy isn't even going to be nerfed anymore.
It's our Chimancy now. We'll see what happens here. Smugs is getting owned, apparently. I have not been entirely sure, though. I have seen the Pokemon.
I mean, yeah, 2-3-5-3. I'd say that's a little KDA diff.
It's a Valcady. What can you do?
Exactly. But either way, sides have been swapped, and we are going to see that similar aggression, it looks like, from the Chamber on the defensive side here, peeking over A long. But I do like this Viper as well. Not only is it protecting the A site, but it is the B as well, while they are actually going to be playing from the garage window, which is great.
Yeah, I want to say this is going to be a little bit slow as the attackers do look to push C here as a group while the Gecko goes on a little bit of a cheeky flank, but I do like the idea of it.
Yeah, and the trade of recon bolts as well. We get a little bit of information garnered for both sides, but that early destroyment of the drone won't spot out Phoebe Wonder, who's instead caught out with their snake bite. And look at this, Chimancy with the collateral with the deagle. No more under the shackles. They choose to sport this weapon and find the frags off of it. Now putting the defenders in a 2v3 situation. And Chimancy with the third on the round is sporting that just like Geos is as well.
And Mr. Zeddy's Pokemon as well are not going to be able to be enough, as it's mostly Queen Sleep.
And I mean, it's match point.
It is match point now as well, which is not the position you want to be as the defenders here. As I think the economy is also a bit in favor of attackers.
Yeah, no, it is. But the one good thing about Swiftplays is that at least you can buy some sort of weaponry. But like you said, you have an Odin and a Vandal that you're up against with those light shields. But if you quickly collect those out the rip, then you could be in a pretty good situation. But it does look like it's going to be a crossfire in garage that they're trying to dismantle with this Odin. It's not going to quite work though. Shotgun's in and played, but baited out by the Yoru clone. Geos is good for both, is taking this seaside by storm. The question is, are they going to clear out Mr. Yeti from this corner?
I mean, I want to say yes, they'll be able to, but at the same...
Oh no!
Did it happen? Oh! Aww.
Last player standing.
I mean, it's up to Geos, and it's now up to Bubble Wyatt to carry to get the clutch.
With only a Marshall though, and it's Chimancy baiting out with the knife, trying to see if they're going to be respected. And no, it's of course Chimancy finishes things out with a deagle, embracing their nerf in this game to end not only with a positive KDA but a 6-2.
Oh, Bubble Wyatt's getting kicked. GG's.
I guess GG's. Go next. Oh my goodness, but that is map 2 of 5 sorted out here, and I'm just gonna go. I'm curious if we're gonna see a trend here in terms of the players that have been winning so far. And if I pull up the results from last map, it was a 5-3, so it was a little bit closer. But Sparks, who was on the last team, was on this team, and then they've won. And I believe that is nearly a really common thread here. Although the difference is that Sparks was at the top of the leaderboard 11-7, and now on this Sova, they've been 5-4. So that's definitely a person I'm going to keep an eye on to see if, they're a common thread in the next game of that team winning. But for now, what did you make of that map?
I think Chimancy's nerf was not, like, as you were talking about, like, not necessarily a nerf at all. It just only one map was lost the entire time. And it just, like, I think on all 6 maps, he just decided to use the what's the name of it again? Oh no.
What were you asking about?
The pistol.
The sheriff?
The sheriff, like, the sheriff, like, use the sheriff the entire time, just doesn't care.
Yeah,
nerf or not.
If you hit your shots, you hit your shots. And I mean, my duo in Valorant consistently uses the sheriff, and I never do unless I'm joking with her. But she's been encouraging me to use it more, and I definitely see the power behind it if you can hit your shots, and you trust yourself. But regardless, we do have our next map pick, which is going to be Split. Do you remember anything about this map?
No. Unfortunately, no.
So Split is also a 2-site map, but there's really heavy mid fights and mid control that can access basically every other part of the map and be a huge kind of thorn in your side, or even a catastrophic way to crack open a round. So mid rounding is essential and keeping control over these different parts. So I'm expecting to see maybe a resurgence of a Sage, you know, or something along those lines. But otherwise, I'm just excited to see what the map will bring.
I wonder if we're gonna see Mr. Yeti pull out the Astra again.
I don't think so. I mean, like we said, that was their first time playing it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Astra, but also that Viper is a pretty common pick as well. But in the meantime, while we wait for one more player to get into the lobby, we do have our incentives that you guys can get in the next minute or two before we jump into Agent Select, which is that you can choose a staff member's agent for $10. You can do that sheriff only, like we just saw Chimancy forced into, for $15. You can see, kind of like what his potato has sported, a knife only for an entire half for $35. And then you can double a staff member's sensitivity for $10. So if you want to nerf those players that have been standing out stars. Or finally, if you are a creative soul that would like to make up your own challenge for $50, you can force any staff member into that custom challenge.
I'm trying to think of now something to do with the $50, but I'm coming up blank besides the lower sensitivity thing.
I mean, so I think a lot of these came out of something called Strat Roulette, which was a kind of, I guess, a meme or a game mode where essentially you would have, like, on a wheel, you'd have to spin it, and then your team members would have to do that idea for the entire round. And these were things like, oh, you can't leave spawn until the spike has been planted. Oh, everybody has to calm in a certain way. And so those are kind of examples that you can do. Like maybe, like he said, you trap the player on one site until spike is planted on the opposite site.
Okay, so you know how, like, I don't remember the specific name of the setting, but you know, like, the setting that's like left is right and right is left?
Yeah,
or someone to play that.
Oh my god, invert their controls. That would be brutal.
Thank you. That
Make them play on, like, a tiny screen.
Set your monitor 144p.
That'd be brutal, especially if you have, like, some of those expensive setups. But either way, I mean, I think we've had some pretty solid games so far. We've had, I don't want to say too much chaos from the donations. So if you want to, like, talk in Twitch chat and team up with other players, maybe we could get, like, nerfs on every single staff member, and then that would maybe bring out some chaos. So it's like, hey, I'm about to donate, you want to as well? Exclamation point donate, by the way, will take you to the Tiltify to see not only what the donation goals are, but then what weaponry we're under as well.
Yeah, I kind of want to see, like, knife only actually be forced besides Lettuce Knife out there on the grind in the trenches, doing it for the good of the people. I want to see it be forced, personally.
Yeah. Either way, looks like we are waiting for only one more player, which they have now jumped into the lobby, so we should be getting into Agent Select here pretty soon. So you have a few more seconds or minute-ish to get your Agent Select picks in, which I'm trying to think about on Split. That Yoru would be a pretty meme pick. Jet's pretty not too common. Usually it's like a Raze or Reyna on this map. Phoenix would also be kind of more of a meme pick. But otherwise, obviously, if you know players, you know staff members, you can just choose what you know that they've never played as an agent. I mean, we've seen, what was it, like Bubba Wyatt play Chamber twice. Maybe throw them on a different agent. Throw them on a Breach.
Maybe, excuse me. Maybe throw in a Killjoy for someone as well.
That's true, especially, like, I'm trying to think of who's been playing Duelist over and over again. You can see that on maybe. Oh yeah, put Bubba Wyatt on the Killjoy. True Sentinel.
Only good things can come out of that situation.
Exactly. I mean, I think Killjoy is a pretty good pick though for Split in itself. Just because you definitely see these microwave setups over on B main, so if people don't know that they're there, then and you fall victim to them, you basically are dead and you can't get out of that situation. But either way,
I mean, Killjoy seems like a very fun and chaotic character to just, like, play as, like, from the small amount of clips I've seen.
Definitely. And like we said, mid control is a must, so Killjoy is good for that. I think Killjoy, like you said, Killjoy was, fun fact, the #1 picked agent in Champions. They had the highest pick rate. So
Really?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you'd think it'd be like a certain, like, duelist or something, but nope. They in fact were.
I mean, I'm not really familiar with the kit. However,
Yeah.
I did see like the C4s come out like and like bounce off, like into the air using them. The most
That's
similar.
raises. That's raises.
Oh, that's raises.
You mean the blast packs?
Yes, those.
Yeah, I mean, Reyes and Killjoy are girlfriends, so you know, I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, it's not surprising that they get mixed up, but yeah, Reyes is definitely a plus on this map because not only do they, like you said, you have the blast packs to get into these uncommon angles, which are really good on this map, but then also you get that bomb bot, which is also information.
Yeah, and as information is also very important. I want to say, given that like the maps are very long and they can be a little bit confusing on given how much like cover and sightlines there are to manage.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree, and I mean, otherwise, we're just like getting the map set and we'll be able to jump right in because we can theorize all we want, but for all we know, these teams are about to go on like 5 duelists on both teams.
Smokes only.
Yeah, smokes only, so that we cannot cast for them in any capacity. Which I think it'd be funny if they troll us as casters. I mean, we've been trolling them with the donations just a little bit, which speaking of, we are at $1,415, so $85 more ish, and we will be getting that gross ice cream punishment for Mr. Yeti. Or, like we said, do some specific staff targeting with the incentives we talked about earlier.
Make the staff suffer. That's the name of the game for this week. Mm-hmm. Support a good cause to make the Trank staff a little bit more miserable while doing so.
Yeah, no, completely. Otherwise, I believe this is not the only kind of, obviously this is the Tranquility Season 11 weekly event. So obviously there's been other events people have been donating in, and there's like other rewards that you guys can get by donating. But we are jumping into Agent Select here for Split, so we'll see if any of our theories are correct. If we're gonna see, you know, 5 duelists, 5 smoke players, or the Killjoys finally coming out, which, like you said, my agent, I'm a Killjoy main, and they are definitely my favorite person to play, and I'm surprised we haven't gotten much Killjoy love so far in these Swiftplays.
Maybe we're just in the lobby that we're in, just like nobody wants to play Killjoy. Very sad.
Yeah, I mean, it usually is either the Killjoy or the Chamber. You usually don't get both of them as Sentinel picks. But they might make me a liar here. We might be getting double Sentinel on the defenders if they lock in that Cypher, which means that they would have a very strong defensive start. But then over on the attack, I feel like it would be a little more chaotic. Otherwise, though, we're getting a diversification of our duelists finally. I feel like we've seen every single duelist minus Phoenix so far, actually. We've seen Reyna, Jet, Yoru. Now we're getting the Neon and the Raze, so the only person we need to see is now Phoenix.
Maybe we'll either get this map or next map, hopefully.
Maybe we'll tell them to play. Wait, somebody donate and say play Phoenix. Somebody come on, do that please for next map. But look, we get our Killjoy pick.
Heyo!
Thank you, Oni. I love you, Oni. All right.
Oni, my goat.
For real, for real. Otherwise, though, what's interesting here is the defenders so far do not have a duelist, which means that role will be left to Smugs. Like I said, that star player so far, that I don't want to say win condition, but Smugs has won every game that they've played so far. Or so no, it's Sparks that has. Sparks is the one that's been winning every game they've played. I have lied to you. But
two for two.
Yeah. So we'll see if is Sparks playing this game? I was not paying attention. Let's go see.
Yeah, Sparks is in here right now.
Sparks is playing, yeah, and they're on Smugs' team. So Smugs has won 1 of 2, and so we'll see. Ooh, oh no, Mr. Yeti has made Geo's knife for the entire. Wait, the entire first half.
Oh no.
Okay, I do want to point out though. Omen is one of the best agents that you can be on for this knife only. The 2 main reasons I say this, number 1, is that they have the smokes to play in. Number 2, they have that near sight, so that you can't see if they're, not only you can't see if they're pushing you, but it also deafens you so that you can get the Shroud of Stuff, which is a teleport, to teleport behind them for the knife. I mean, there's literally a spray in the game to honor somebody who literally has an account called Omen with a knife. So I feel like that's just honoring that with this punishment.
I mean, if it's possible with somebody to be able to one-trick Omen knife time, I don't see why it would not work here. And yeah, I do see what you're talking about. Like having that smoke really is going to be able to help Geo stay alive, hopefully long enough to get a kill with the knife.
Yeah, they might just sit in corners, or like I said, they might play off of like the sky blinds or something of that nature. They also obviously have the cages and the leers to work with, so I think for this to work, basically, you're definitely gonna need some coordination, some assistance from your teammates. So it'll be interesting to see if that will happen. But I mean, this is the game that if it's gonna you're gonna disrupt Sparks' reign of terror in terms of being 2 for 2 on their Swiftplays. Having one of your team members knife only will be the way to get that done.
Hopefully it'll be the way to get it done, but again, like it's only for the first half, as you were talking about. So, which means that like once we reach somebody reaching like point 3, I believe, the situation is going to rapidly change as Geos is going to be free from the knife.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, so we're currently at $1,450, and I feel like it's just kind of Mr. Yeti bringing about their own demise here, getting them closer and closer to this ice cream milestone. So I mean, it's for the kids, I guess, but that's so funny that they're bringing about their own demise here. So how about you guys join them in getting us towards this milestone? !donate for Gamers Outreach, which is basically making sure that they can bring video games to children in hospitals. So not only are they getting the treatment that they need, but they can also have, you know, more enjoyable experiences through gaming. Either way, though, already in into the first round, and Jade Shot bringing in finally the Raze satchel usage we've been wanting to see here, quickly clearing out ramps, but it does put a lot of pressure on Sparks here. That Cypher left to hold down the site alone.
I mean,
My camera is destroyed.
it could. I would like to. I mean, yes, Mr. Yeti is bringing about his own downfall. However, he's also bringing about Geos. So if it works, it
Oh.
works.
Yeah, I mean, that Tripwire is able to get one, but Oni quickly paving the way for their own team, and there's the knife, but that's going to be honored potentially by Oni here, playing around that dark cover. It won't be. Oni with 2 HP realizes that they can take that fight and win. Smugs, though, on the flank here. Not able to get by this Turya, but is instead using it. Slip into an unbeknownst position, a corner that likely will not be cleared. So Wet as Potato is now left on an island here. Rams, they know where Bubba Wyatt is, but they still
Last
don't know where
player
Smugs
standing.
is.
It's a bit of a game of chicken right now, as Oni is going to be taken out by Smugs, but we still just have to wait, as nobody really wants to approach the other person.
Yeah, the thing was, they needed to get the spike there, and even if they won the fight against Smugs, there was still a little
30
time. They would have had to
seconds
re-wrap, re-clear out Bubba Wyatt, and then get the plant down. So, once again, that detriment not proving to be too much of a thorn in the team's side. The first round on the board going in favor of the defenders, who have that nerf player Geos with the knife only for this entire half.
Yeah, also, this entire time, Sparks has been at 130 ping compared to
Oh my
everybody else.
gosh.
So, not only is Sparks winning every lobby, Sparks is winning every lobby while being on worse ping. That is impressive
Yeah.
in my books.
That is quite impressive. Once again, though, what's impressive is Jade Shot with the satchel movement. It would quickly clear out mid for their team. They haven't been able to challenge this Stairs player, this Marshall. Now the rotations as well coming through here. Bubba Wyatt forced to fall back at only 50 HP, while the knife from Geos is coming in hot to try and follow them onto the site. They've got a weapon upgrade, 24 HP. They only need to get one knife off. And that's exactly what they're going to try here. And so far, they're almost able to do it. No, but it at least gets the trade with the knife of all things, too. Before finally they're cornered in mail against the Ares. So that it will be a tied game 1-1 now.
Yeah, it was also Bubble Wyatt to find the knife, not Geos, unfortunately.
I know, it's so funny.
You're
Like,
not
if we
even
go down,
forced to
we
use
go
the
down
knife and you're
together.
using it.
Exactly. If we go down, then we go down together. And that's exactly what they did. They went down together after getting their impact in the round. But either
Ride or
way,
die. It's a ride or die.
look at this. It's finally a different approach, though, from the knifing Geos. They're alone on site here. Maybe going to try and get some ring around the rosy here with elbow, with screens. But either way, the real attention is towards this A site, where Smugs is going to be the first potentially to swing and even pops the Empress.
I mean, with only having a knife, Geos really has to play in a more unexpected way that's a little bit more cheesy. And we're just still holding here.
I mean, if you have that confidence, go for it, especially when you're in that Empress. They're able to shut down Sparks, who was able to get the double frag off of the contact Smugs has made, but that does leave Oni's position no.
I mean, currently Bubble Wyatt is playing a little bit of a game of chicken, holding this angle using the operator, but we just still have to wait. If Oni's able to find the ace here, I'm gonna be impressed.
Oh my god! You spoke
30
too
seconds
soon. The back turn.
He spoke too soon. That is
Insane.
tragic.
And with a bulldog of all things too, not even a full rifle. And I mean, they were in a bad spot because they knew where the position was, but if they wait a little bit longer, they might have had the rendezvous back online. They had other options, and they had the site as well. Considering there was only 30 seconds left, there would have been no time to rotate if you're Oni in that situation.
Yeah, like even with like you said, with even with the kill, the time left would not have been enough, which it really shows like you have, as the attackers, you have to win these fights early. Like the defenders win by prolonging time.
Yeah, and I love Jade's shot here and what they've been able to do with that raised utility. What I love more is look at this Geos once again braving the storm in this lockdown to try and get their knife kill. They won't be able to get the kill, but they will be able to get some assist points on to Wet as Potato, at least for now, as finally rotations come through. It is a 2v3 in favor of the attackers, but Smugs has quickly evened the playing field here. And the last two players are split up, but alas, Bubba Wyatt left again in the clutch situation and the operator in hand. And this off angle is too brutal to hold on to.
Yeah, unfortunately for Bubble Wyatt, that's gonna be it. Currently, Sparks is not in a winning position at going into this map here.
Yeah. I mean, that's the second time that they've been forced to clutch, so I do want to see, you know, some more coordinated retake efforts, because recently they've just kind of depended on these individual star players like Smugs, who is 8-3, mind you, only rivaled by Oni's own 8-2 from that ace clutch. But I mean, Sparks, I feel like the site, whenever they go to the Cypher site, like Sparks is able to hold on to it with the help of their team. Whenever they go to a site that Sparks isn't on, or would, then that's when it falls apart. Either way, though, we have had the side swap already, and look at the strategy coming out. 3 shorties on the defender's side, and all of them about to rush into garage.
Yeah, looking to play very aggressively here against the other team.
The high gear right in to Bubba Wyatt's crosshair with that headhunter doing its job. But in the meantime, there's been some mid aggression as well, Aqua, and it's been able to award them 1 pick as they now fall back to safety. And just like that, numbers have been evened yet again.
Yeah, we're still going to see the rotation slowly maybe come out from the attackers over to B. I think that's still what they want. Actually, no, they're looking to go somewhere else now.
But Jade Shot has both stashes online and a shorty. So if there's anybody who can get it done, it would be them here. Either way, though, they're waiting now. They've probably heard the footsteps from Geos at this point. Geos can use the gun now as well. Their punishment is over, right? So their potential will be unlocked here, which is able to award them the trade against the Jade Shot exchange. So we're once again back to a 2v2 situation.
Spike down A.
Yeah, for both sides, like every kill is bet with another kill. Something physics, I guess.
Oh.
The flashbang does come out for a moment.
Aww. Yeah, great trades so far. Geos is the one left in the clutch situation, finally able to use a gun, but not able to get the job done nonetheless, as Wet as Potato will bring their team on to match point. And this finally might be the time where we see Sparks and those punishments make the team lose the game.
Yeah, 4-1 for the defenders right now. I'd honestly would rather be in that position, which kind of obvious, but how would you say the economy of it is currently looking right now? Would you say it favors the defenders?
I mean, obviously it favors whoever won the pistol round. You can see that in the form of the heavy shields instead of the light shields that our attackers are forced to sport. But ultimately, otherwise, weapons are pretty similar. And you need to win 3 rounds in a row if you're the attackers here if you want a chance at that sudden death. But, I mean, already losing the first blood is not a great way to get that started. Although, Geos with a gun is able to trade things back for 1. Just like that, we're even yet again 2 players being low on HP, and the pressure, the pinch is coming through. And just like that, it is a Deagle to finish things out yet again. Jade shot the 3K to find that last player, to find Smugs, and find the win on map 3 of our Valorant Swiftplays.
With that,
Ooh.
Sparks' undefeated
Dethroned.
record is shattered.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
And I want to point out that the reason why this might have happened is we did have some newcomers that game. I mean, we've seen some repeated players, like we said, like Sparks, like Bubba Wyatt, but that game we had Oni and Jade Shot both stepping in. And looking at this leaderboard, I mean, Oni and Jade Shot were at the top of it. 9-3 from Oni and 8-3 from Jade Shot. Like, that is the Raze Killjoy combo you love to see.
Yeah, if both of them are going to be staying in here, it's going to be interesting to watch as they hopefully maybe go against each other to see really who's better in this head-to-head.
Yes, and we do want to remind you to stick around because we are going to go to a quick break since we are at 3 out of the 5 Swift plays we're doing, and we, your casters, need to get some water, use the restroom and all that, like you guys should be doing as well. But in the meantime as well, if you hit !donate, you will be reminded of our Tiltify, which is where we are raising money for Gamers Outreach. But in addition just to the goodness in your heart and punishing Yeti with their gross ice cream flavors, you can also affect the next Swift play game, so make sure to do that while you can during the break.
Yep. We will be back in a minute. Stay hydrated, folks. And we are back ready for next map. I believe we were told a little bit earlier that it is going to be Sunset. So
Yes.
how many points are there?
Ooh, Sunset. There's also like 2 sites, but just like Split, this is a mid control heavy map. The difference is mid is a lot bigger than Split is. I mean, we saw specifically, I would say, I think it was Jade Shot taking that mid control time and time again. So hopefully you'll see something similar here, but obviously you have to win a few more fights and not just be given over it with a simple double satchel. But what's interesting about this map, Aqua, is that it is the newest to the map pool. So there's not really been any big competitive tournaments where any precedents, any kind of go-to default compositions have been set yet. So this is a time where we're going to see some experimentation. We're going to see who knows what agents thrown into the mix. And I mean, you guys could also choose these agents by donating $10 at the donate link in the last few seconds. But for now, I mean, so far it looks like it's going to be a pretty whoever is the better team wins, considering we don't have any modifications just yet.
Yeah, especially given that there's not, we don't really know what's going to be happening necessarily. As you were talking about, no major tournaments regarding the set meta for this. I'm not entirely sure what that exactly is going to mean. However, given that it has some similarities to these large open variety maps, like I think we could see something similar to that.
Yeah, no, completely. Like, you definitely need, like, I've seen double smoke compositions work, I've seen double duelist compositions work. It really is a map that just lets you, whatever strategy you go with and cater your composition to it, it works out pretty well. I think the commonality with either of those is that you do need some sort of flank set. If you choose a deadlock or you choose a sage that doesn't have the definitive trip, then you are going to get flanked no matter what, and that can be really devastating because of how many avenues to flank there are. You can go through tiles, you can go through main, you can really go through market too, and it's just a little bit chaotic, and I definitely feel like having that lurk player is super beneficial on either side, the defense or the attack.
Right, like, not if you're not able to keep track of where somebody is, that means at like any point they could just kill you. Like,
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
If again, information is absolutely necessary for both sides here, as they have to be able to, one, predict where someone is going, and two, predict where they even are to begin with.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that we haven't really talked about is post plants and these sites themselves. And I feel like both of these have pretty solid organizations. I feel like the A site is more straightforward, minus that kind of one box that you can hide behind. But there's so many different angles that you have to hold at the same time, whether it's CT, whether it's elbow, whether it's, I think it's called link, that comes directly towards the mid. And versus the B site, which is a little bit more straightforward. I mean, you have this one huge center pillar that you can loop around with these boxes. Then you also have to worry about that market pressure. So planting safe is definitely a must on there. But then if you want to plant safe, you have a lot more angles to clear out, which is where I would say like those Raze picks are pretty solid for that reason. Either way though, we are getting ready to jump into the game. So in the meantime, I will remind you guys that if you put ! donate, you'll be taken to our Tiltify page for Gamers Outreach, which is an organization working, you know, towards a charity that empowers hospitalized children through video games, and they're working on building a world where play in video games is easily prioritized alongside research and treatment, because yes, making sure these kids get better is important, but you don't want them to suffer either while this happens.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened.
We're back. It's all that matters.
I had a graphics driver, my graphics.
You're fine. We're already into agent select.
Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not really in. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Either way, like we said, we're jumping in to agent select here on Split. Where, look at that, Smugs had to have been listening. They've locked in the Phoenix. They've completed our duelists, our Kajios as well, going for the Phoenix here. And I do think that Phoenix is a solid pick for this map. You either see the Phoenix or the Raze typically. Like I said, Raze is good for gaining this space, but that run it back is equally important. Not only does it get information, but if you put it on these individuals with this high fragging potential, then they can also do damage on these retake, on these entry attempts.
Yeah, this could be very important, like especially with the long sightlines, having to be being able to control them is going to be really what's necessary. We are going to see the Phoenix now, so we have gotten all our duelists, I believe, now.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. My only concern though is we talked about how a flank watch or a trip is essential, and they've kind of foregone that on the side of the attackers, but with using that Sage pick and this double duelist, because then you have to dedicate somebody to watching to make sure that you don't get flanked. Versus with having Phoebe Wonder on that Cypher, you can just put a trip and not worry about it too much.
Which is, depending on how that goes, it could be very nice for him, but I'm not sure if it's going to be what's ideal here, but being able to like at least have protection or insurance against certain sidelines is good.
Yeah, no, completely. Either way, though, once again, these lobbyists take a little bit to load in, so we can point out some of the other differences here. Obviously, you have the double initiator and for that KO and that fade. I do think fade is pretty nice just because these sites are a little bit smaller, so they can cover the entirety of them, or they can gain that backside information I said is a little bit more essential to a B site take. But then again, also the information from that KO knife from that 0 point is essential as well. So I feel like the information and I feel like just their attack composition for our current defenders is so much better compared to our current attackers, because even on the attacking side they really don't have too much information, right? The only information they have would be the dizzy from Mr. Yeti on the get-go, but even that requires some triangulation about, okay, where did they dizzy? That's where the player currently is, and then you still have to follow up on it in such a timely manner, because then it'll dissipate. Other than that, though, it really is just going to be first contact fights on their side.
I do also notice that like the wettest potato is now on the stage, which I don't think they've been playing that. I think they've been playing whatever Chimanzi's on like for most of tonight.
Yeah, they have definitely been that kind of fill player. I mean, they've been on Breach twice. I don't remember if who they played first or second map. But yeah, seeing them on stage will definitely be interesting, because it is usually more of a passive player, more of a support player, versus they've been that high fragging individual for their team. So I'm curious to see as well.
What else is there to know? Oni on.
Oni, oh yes, Oni as well, switching up their role. No longer on the Killjoy, they've switched over to this info initiator in the form of Fade, which, like I said, it still requires some more coordination on the utility that Killjoy has, but that ultimate is a lot more, or is also very execution based like Killjoy's. So it's a different role, there's some parallels, and I think it'll just more help them out with the fragging potential instead of being tied to their utility in order to get information and get an impact.
Right, yeah, like sure, utility can be incredibly useful and nice, but like really mostly at the end of the day it does come down to the frag potential and like actually getting those frags out.
Yeah, no, completely.
I think we're gonna see a bit of a slow start here, maybe like down main.
Yeah, it's actually going to be a Sage Wall. A little Grim action to start things off. Smug is the first victim of it, but is able to slip into tiles undetected. Able to get the curveball out and get a frag off of it as well, but this high-low game is going to cost them their life if they're not careful. Able to fall back, able to try and get the heal off from that Molly, but they are getting hunted down by Twizzy, who will finally get the trade, even if things back out of the 4v4. In the meantime, though, more chaos is happening, and suddenly numbers advantages in favor of the attackers. I mean, I talked about this Aqua blood, or mid as a bloodbath, but even so, it's not ending.
Mid will not see the end of the violence just yet. I think we are going to see it as it's angles are still going to be held by Glitch against wettest potato, but like Spike still hasn't come down yet. They do have plenty of time, but it does look like they do want to rotate here to B.
Yeah, I don't want to say they played around with mid too much because they were able to get frags, but
oh, this is not
like
a good situation for
yeah.
Enemy remaining.
For defense here. Glitch is gonna have to clutch up.
Yeah, and Glitch is going to be at least respected enough to be given the 1v1, but even that will drop them to 19 HP here. Also being drawn to the 1v1 against Geos, who only has 1 bullet left in the chamber. Their position as well, spotted out by the 0 point. But ultimately, time isn't in their favor. They need to forego that conclusion, that fight. It's ring around the rosy, wettest potato going for the knife glory yet again, and they will get it in the back this time. The distraction perfect from their team member Geos, and they won't throw that round this time.
Beat that boy with a bat. Smack.
Yeah.
Yeah, wettest potato. I've enjoyed watching their performance tonight with all the little funny melee kills. It does look like now that the attackers want to maybe go down main again, but from different sides.
Yeah, I mean, they're fixing the mistake that happened last round, right? They were pressured from Smugs and Tiles this time, so if they use this Molly and then run into Tiles, they would be screwed. But instead, it's going to be Bring Around the Rosie with the pillar in mid, and although Wingman will get the concuss, it's not enough, barely, as Jade Shot will draw to a lifeline, so they'll be forced to rely on that healing from Sage in order to keep them at a solid level enough to re-swing here, where Oni is playing around with the prospect of taking on a fight here at Market.
Yeah, also looks like Oni is going to be having to take a 1v3 as well, and does not win it, unfortunately. Fancy does find the kill in turn, though.
Yeah, but they're too focused on the extremities, and market pressure comes through, placing now the last member with their back turned to Mr. Yeti, and it is the second round in favor of our attackers here. And I think that is one thing that I haven't really been able to pinpoint yet, Aqua, is if this map is attack or defense sided, even if the attackers right now are making it seem more attack sided.
I mean, I did play this once, I believe.
Ooh.
I would not be able to say either way. It does seem, I think it's pretty even, given the circumstances of like how both teams are prioritizing this main area between A and B. But it just really comes down to who plays that area better.
Yeah, and speaking of playing the area here, it's an early ultimate from Gios right out the gate into this B-side execute that I talked about. Is so good about clearing backside space and will pave the way now for the plant to come through. And I do want to point out that one thing Mr. Yeti's been doing is using that wingman to gain space instead of necessarily plant the spike, which is great. But now, I mean, the retake hasn't even started and the reckoning has already come out, so it's gonna further kind of delay here the retake attempt. And these two players are so low that the flank will just crumble. It's kind of gonna be hard to retake at all.
Yeah, defense right now is in not exactly the greatest position. Phoenix Wall is out right now. Just Geos is also gonna find Oni in the middle of that as well. It's a 1v4.
Cage triggered.
It's a 4v0.
Yeah, and that's 3-0 on the scoreboard. I mean, I know I said that the other composition was great for attack compared to your own, but you don't gotta prove me this wrong like this with going for a 4-0 so far on your attack half. Like, dang.
We've been talking too much smack. It's coming to bite us.
Apparently, oh my goodness. But either way, I mean, they still have their attack out, so they can still, you know, lose 4 and then go back and win 4 on their next, and then we would go to sudden death for the 5th and final round. But either way, for now, it does look like they're messing around a little bit. Blazestorm out early from Jade Shot. I think they've spotted the fact that Oni has made their way into main, but it won't matter. Both players on this team finding picks really early at the gate, even able to get the haunt off, but it won't save their life, as even Wet as Potato, along with Twizzy on mid, will find their impact. And suddenly, it was such a strong start out. The gate has crumbled back into even numbers. Maybe even now a deficit as the KO will fall.
Yeah, as you say that, Glitch is now down to Wet as Potato, and the spike is coming out for the attack. I would... Smugs has to figure out something here, along with the Cypher, to really put this situation in a better place to maybe get a point off. As I say that,
Ooh.
Smugs is gonna find 3.
Oh my god, they find 4 back-to-back 180s from each other too. That's how you target swap like a pro and clutch like a pro to give a first round that they desperately needed. And I mean, I know Smugs wasn't playing in the first map, but they've definitely had their impact once they've joined. And I mean, those are the kind of frags that you need to keep your team in this, especially now that the sides have been swapped and the economy is reset.
Smugs needs to be nerfed.
For real, for real.
But now we're gonna have to see how this the defender's composition, which it was working really nicely on attack, changes now that they have to play defense. They look like they want to stack B a little with the Phoenix and Sage.
Yeah, but what I'm concerned about is this fast pressure that's going to come out from Jade Shot over on the A side. Looks like they're positioned in season to have this fast flank, and it looks like there's no real trips yet in sight to account for that. Yes, they have the camera window, but that's about it. It's complemented, though, by this early aggression and this early stage wall that's a little bit whiffy, but will in fact save their life from Wet as Potato. Only a shorty, and now no options. The C's and the 0 point will still not stop them as they get another and are still kicking. Now finally joined by the support from Twizzy here, who off that cascade is able to find 1 and is searching for a second and will find that as well. And as I say that, here comes the backstep from Jade Shot that I talked about in the pre-round.
Yeah, now it's a 2v3 situation. Phoenix and Oni are very low as Twizzy finds Oni. Mugs is
Last player standing. Spike
I mean,
down B.
Not much more.
that's like you said, match point, and a beautifully orchestrated attempt. They had mid pressure, they had flank pressure, they had main pressure, and they really just choked that team like an anaconda to their death now. And I mean, like we said, it's a swift play, so you're still able to force up, but look what they're against right now. 4 judges, maybe even 5 if wet as potato. Yeah, commits to the bit. Let's go. What are they
I don't think
cooking?
that-
Look, they're pushing mid.
That goes there.
Let them cook.
A
Let
lot
them
for the
cook.
cascade too, but what's interesting here is look, J-Shot has split off from the masses here. Because of that, they will be prepared. A lot of members, but are they ready to challenge the wave of judges? The answer is no. It's Geos for the 3rd. And look at that. I mean, they have the weapon that they need, but it's not enough. The cavalry is there. And the running back will save their life, and it's the 5th and final for the 4th map here of our Swift Play Valorant game night. And oh,
I think that was a good way to end that map off. Personally, I liked it.
I think that was a little bit of a meme strategy, but I guess it worked because of the fact that we consistently saw, I guess they're considered the attackers, but the people who won, the team that won, challenging mid versus in the first round of the attack for defenders, the team that Smugs was on, they really didn't. And I think that's what they capitalized on. Because if they had swung there, like from bottom mid, where that cascade was coming from, it would have been a very different outcome, I would say, considering they had those long-range weapons to counteract the judges. Versus you take it to tiles and to the spawn side, then that is such short corners where you're definitely going to lose those fights.
Yeah, what I think really set them over the edge though was like that was the element of surprise with 5 judges.
Completely.
I mean, I didn't see that happening personally.
Yeah. But Jade Shot continuing the trend of being a high fragging duelist here, even on the Jet 8-2. But then again, Twizzy also another member, a newcomer into the Swift Plays 8-3 to continue the idea that if you are a newer player, then you might have some frag potential. Oni though, a little bit struggling a little bit on the fade, so maybe we'll see resurgence of the Sentinel if they stick around for our final game. But either way, I'm trying to see what else we can look at there. Chimancy, I want to see them back on the duelist, I think, in the last game. So if somebody wants to use the exclamation point donate to make that happen, that would be great. But otherwise, I mean, we got the Phoenixes we wanted, and both of them were pretty high fragging individuals in this game.
They were also. I kind of want to keep our eyes on a Jade Shot here. Like,
That's true.
Map 3 fragged out of their mind. This map fragged out of their mind. It's. Let's see if we can maybe go for a 3-peat with that.
Yes, and it actually looks like Phoenix, not the character, but the player, is going to be rejoining as well, potentially, for this last game. And they were kind of those player that, like, was cooking in certain moments, and I want to see them cook overall for the entire game, if that makes sense. But either way, we'll have to wait and see if that happens. We're also waiting to see what our 5th and final map will be. But do you want to remind them of why we're here casting, why these players are here playing?
Right, so we are out here tonight working, casting mostly for Gamers Outreach to raise money for kids in hospitals to put behind both game and science towards health and research on certain diseases. We're out here for a good cause tonight. Be sure to donate. Be here for a good cause. Be here to make Yeti miserable.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally only $50 off from that next major milestone for the weekly Tiltify campaign. But also, I mean, this is your last opportunity, right, to affect the game personally with your donations, to affect what is happening here on stream in these Swift Plays, where, you know, $10 will let you pick an agent for somebody in the game. You have you can force a sheriff only for a half, you can force a knife only for a half for $15 and $35 respectively. And then there's the two that haven't been done for this stream yet so far, which is you can double a staff member's sensitivity for $10, which I think is a steal in my eyes. Like, that can really mess somebody up. And then the Valorant custom challenge for $50, which, although it's a higher price tag, you literally can do whatever you want within reason to a player of your choice. So this could be anything like a strat roulette that you might have seen and wanted to see how it's implemented in a game. Or even if you just particularly don't like a certain staff member and want to get back at them, then that's what you get to do.
not the staff revenge.
Exactly. I mean, it's for a good cause. It's good for a good cause, okay?
We could justify this in our minds,
Exactly.
surely.
You can justify it. But regardless, we do have our map 5 pick, and we are going back to, I would say, the Valorant classic of Ascent. And if there's any map where I was looking forward to and will likely see Killjoy, it is this one. This is her playground, from lineups to lockdown positions to even the microwave setups on B. If there's not a Killjoy here, I will... you're casting us alone. Goodbye.
Don't leave me here.
I'm gonna leave you here to suffer.
No, I don't know what I'm doing.
It's Ascent. You got this.
I don't got this.
Either way, though, already jumping into Agent Select. No wait this time around. We're going to go right into this 5th and final map here for the Tranquility Gaming Valorant Swiftplays.
Got a jet, maybe? Excuse me. I'm
Maybe?
yawning.
Uh,
Shamanzi on the...
you guys don't see that message in chat, all right? I don't know what you're talking about. Thank you to Geos for hovering and locking in the Killjoy, because you are not going to be left in any kind of situation of solo casting. I know, that's the whole point. But regardless, this is unbiased castering, but you know, you don't see that message, guys. You don't see that at all.
Surely there's no insider trading happening right here.
Not at all.
We are going to see Twizzy on the Reyna. Much more selfish duelist that we've seen. I want to say like map 1 or map 2. And Bubble White's probably going to still be true.
Wait, the defenders are trolling because I said that somebody better pick Killjoy. They might be going in all Sentinel composition here. Please do it. Please tell me that they do it. Oh my god, is this gonna happen? Come on, come on, come on, come on. So for fun fact, with the addition, so with the addition of Deadlock into the game, there is the ability to go all Sentinel, when previously it was more like you can go all Smokes, you can go all Duelist. And that's exactly what we're gonna get, is the 5 Sentinel composition versus a more traditional composition where they have every single role on the table. But what I love about this composition, right, is that the stage wall can act as kind of a barrier, the cages can act as kind of smokes, so you really aren't gonna be down to too much information. I mean, even the turret itself can be like, some information gathering for your team, but I'm interested to see how the attackers are going to respond to this development.
I'm not sure exactly how you would play against that necessarily, but
I mean, they're starting out on the defense, so if they lose here, then that'll be kind of sad.
that would be very sad. Like, from what I've kind of seen, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but Sentinels are like very good on defense.
Yep, that's what they're for.
Yeah, lots of defensive tools to like really make an attacker's life a living hell. If they somehow lose the defense, I'd be...
Yeah, versus like if they get this 4-0 going, then they only need to really win 1 round, and if you get like a crazy unexpected strategy like the 5 judge push down mid we saw in Sunset, then that's one way to quickly close out a game once you're over on your attack. But for now, yeah, I'm interested to see what exactly the attacker's approach is going to be.
It looks like they all want to sack B. The defenders are playing a little bit split with Sage and someone else that I can't really see right now. The Chamber on E, but everyone else on A, which is not good.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see, you know, somebody playing up mid, because it's only that Trip holding it down. But, I mean, for now, so far, they've done a good job of dismantling this B-side hold so far. If they aren't going to run right into this microwave setup that I've talked about on lane, and just like that, the Reyna is shredded. They haven't cleared out the position, though, on Dice, and Sparks is good for 1 before they're finally shut down. But here comes the second part of the round, Aqua, where it's difficult. The the Sentinels have to retake a site.
They now have to attack. How will this go? They are even. Which, and they do have the healthier health pools. But
I like the bait from the barrier mesh, so it does give them 1, but ultimately it puts Jade Shot in an unfortunate situation. And they still will be able to get the frag and get the defuse. And I mean, although they didn't use any utility there, right, Aqua? Other than the barrier mesh, their teamwork and the crossfires were immaculate.
yeah, they were able to really set up all those pinch angles, like right at the end, able to completely collapse down on the rush that the attackers had set up.
Completely. Either way, though, for now, it does look like they've heard my idea of potentially having somebody fluidly rotating between sites. They've actually swapped 3 over to the B site, maybe in preparation for that kind of rush that they had. But Spike is actually headed towards A once again, where you can see this aggression potentially that's going to come out from Bubba Wyatt, which we're used to seeing at this point, I would say, in the Swiftplays.
Also love the casters showing us the little bear. Very much
I know. I call him Bartholomew. He's one of the Tacta friends, is what they're called.
Oh, I never knew.
But already chaos ensuing on A main. Bubba Wyatt not able to hold on to the control and able to hold on to their life. So now the barrier mesh is the default here, allowing JShot to play around dice, allowing them to play for a pick here, but nobody is quite biting just yet.
Yeah, we're just kind of holding a little bit here slowly. Just nothing happened besides Bubba Wyatt.
Yeah, but I think there's a little bit of an over-rotation here. I mean, you can see them already making their way towards mid, and it's actually going to be a lot on Swing's shoulders here. Should be able to get one at least, but then a gun upgrade falls out of the map. Now the Phoenix, the attention shifts to Phoenix here, who will try to get the trade and will not be able to do it. So now, once again, it'll be Twizzy with the backstab to at least bring a shred of hope into the game, considering how low their partner, how low Geos is in the situation. Question is, where do they go?
I mean, B is looking a little bit open right now, but like at the same time, like everything is just like
30 seconds
defense
left.
stuff to the max. So, like it's hard to tell.
And although the Killjoy might be out of range of their utility, they're quickly rotating back over into a range where it might come online. So that might be the final nail in the coffin as number 1. Not only does the trip do it, but then, like I said, that swarm grenade, when you have a 0 HP like Geos did, it is all that you need. And that's what I'm saying is, like, you cannot go anywhere on this map without these Sentinels knowing. So even if you think you're out rotating them, you probably aren't.
There is no rotation.
There is none.
Suffering.
I think they just got to commit to the bit, and if it falls apart, it falls apart. And I think because they got cold feet there, we're going towards that 4-0 that I said might happen on the defensive half.
Don't jinx it just yet.
I'm a caster. I gotta throw some caster curses in there somewhere.
I've done a fair share of those as well.
Yeah. It's the last map though, and I think they've heard my advice and are trying to commit more towards this A site. That barrier mesh is going to start to slow things down, which is finally why they are destroying it instead of just seeing what'll happen like they did last round, giving JShot these angles. But for now, it seems like a miscommunication. They're not realizing that the barrier mesh was still up, so the Trailblazer won't get any information. And I mean, that loss of information is going to be so detrimental to this A hit. Joe, oh, look at Twizzy though.
Yeah, and they're... Oh. Ooh, that's not good. He's dead. It's now 3v5 for the attackers.
Reina killed.
And I think Twizzy really needed to go big there in order to bring this round back from the capabilities of Ruin. And I mean, even in the meantime, right, as that development was occurring, as a main was getting tested, these members have pushed up, one now into tiles and potentially into spawn, one in bottom mid, and now even one pushing up cat. So like, they basically are caged animals at this point. They have nowhere to go without them knowing, right? They have this camera to know if they go mid. They have Sage spawn to let them know if that's where they're rotating to. And because of that, look at this investment, but the utility as well is ready, and it is a double-headed sphere. And
I think that's probably going to be it.
Spike down. Last player
I mean,
standing.
yeah, I mean, even the backstab, although to get spotted out by the trademark, there's no time left. The players are just running into this. You're out of bullets, you're out of time, and unless you somehow find every frag lining up, it's a 3rd round on the board for the Sentinels. And this is just, I feel like, an kind of a ceremony or an honoring of the Sentinels and their capability
Last
here.
round before the
Considering
switch.
you don't get to see it too much. But I mean, that was perfect. The trip into the sonic sensor, double concussed. Like, what are you supposed to do there, Aqua?
Cry. Maybe,
Yeah, basically.
I don't know. Hope for the best, maybe? Just...
Yeah, maybe give up. Maybe go for a nice little picnic here with your friends. Maybe get a glass of wine, because the game's over. But either way, once again, they're changing something, and Phoenix will actually get the pacing right to beat the barrier orb from going up. And now it all falls on Sparks with this Odin spam, but the Seekers will push them off of that angle too. So the follow-up is going to be just as solid, even with exchanges happening on the other side of the map. The execution comes through, and once again, the Mollies find their mark, and so will this Odin. Good for 2 more. Numbers advantage.
2v3.
Yeah, exactly. Gone. Forcing the lockdown out.
We just kind of have to wait a little bit. Oh.
They were robbed of that kill. But regardless, forced to respect the lockdown. So plant at least will be secure at Aqua. Unless the Annihilation has something to do with it. But it will at least claim its victims so far, but...
He just got kidnapped.
Dang. You never get to see solid Annihilation kills. So I think the Deadlock ult onto the default plant was the smartest option there from Jade Shot.
Yeah, I mean... Let's just defuse it.
Yeah, I mean, that round will give them the 4-0 that I talked about, right? And so I'm pretty sure this is the half where either they're about to win it in the first round or they're gonna start suffering pretty early out the gate. So what is your prediction here? We gotta balance out the caster curse, right? I curse one, you curse one.
Please just give me a 5-0.
Match point.
Oh no, it's what time is it for you? It's 11 for me.
10.
10. See, you're fine.
To bed at midnight last night.
But it's a Saturday.
I know.
Either way. Well, then maybe your dream, your wish will come true from the Sentinels. But I mean, like I said, they do have to commit, I think, to a site, considering they don't have as much information, as much utility. So they really do need to overwhelm them in numbers. And I'm not too certain about Geos' approach to the Killjoy setup here on B. Only the alarm bot. Okay, there's the Molly. I was gonna say to hold down site, but I do think it's particularly weak, and I think they've selected the right site to hit.
Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. We'll have to find out soon enough. It does look like they do have 3 stacked up.
Oh my god, I love the Grim Wall and Window. That's one of my favorites to choose, but it did look like it messed up a little bit. Only the chamber will be up there, and Geos' turret is just doing the work fully for them. Able to get the first blood off, but ultimately that swing off the guiding light won't favor them. Sparks, the next victim to Geos' reign on the B side. They're searching for more, but Swing will ensure they don't find it. The numbers back in favor of the Sentinels. Very low HP, and the backstab coming through. We'll see if they can survive it. So far, no chance of evening things back out to a 2v2.
Attackers need something like absolutely perfect.
They should not take this fight, I'm sorry.
Looks like they're going to, though.
Oh, bad timing. Spike now in the middle of nowhere for Swing. Stuck between a rock and a hard place and no HP. 5 seconds left on the heal, 40 seconds for them to get into the minds of the defenders here. Let's see if they can do it.
The way gets the heal off. Just wait.
Yeah, as soon as they make noise, though, the crossfire will likely swing. So it's a question of how
30
can you
seconds
dismantle
left.
that. And the answer so far is to push mid-market. And they don't check the corner. The right clicks connect. The rendezvous out. And the punish will not follow through. Phoenix able to hold on to their life somehow. And it's not that 5-0 that you had hoped for.
5-1, please.
I think we're going to sudden death in my eyes now because of that. Mine wasn't a caster curse, yours was.
Oh.
Either way, though, I'm interested to see if anything is going to change, if they're going to continue this mentality of hit a site and follow through. But for now, looking at the weapons, it does look like a Deagle squad mainly is the approach for the attackers, but we've seen what these Deagles are able to do. Question is, can the Marshal do anything against Twizzy with their Guardian? Not quite, but in the meantime, Jade Shot will be able to get one with the Deagle. But numbers advantage still not in their favor here. Information being gathered on mid where Phoenix is playing from. They even know where the rendezvous is. But it's Geos once again holding down that B site so that nobody can get in.
Yeah, the Sentinel composition's really messing up the attackers now that it's
Ooh!
defense.
Clean little side steps, at least to rob Twizzy of their life, to get that Guardian out of the picture temporarily, to help them gain some mid-control. But less than a minute left on the clock, and they really haven't committed onto a site. Geo's trying to pressure off that trip, but ultimately pushing a tad too far. So now it's more of just a conscious threat in the back of their mind. Looks like the decision finally comes through to pivot towards A, but my question is, are they going to clear out Chamancy here from main? And usually people don't clear this angle, but Bubba White has slipped through the cracks. They've made their way into tree, but it might not matter if Phoebe Wonder doesn't clear the angle, and they don't. 20 seconds left. Bubba White is just looking for picks.
One enemy
They know they
remaining.
can't win this.
Spike down A.
Are you sure?
I mean, yeah, no, they're too split up with the amount of time that's left. And this low of HP, and you're against Geos with the Bulldog, like, that's an easy 3K for them, an easy second round on the board.
If you were ever going to go to sudden death?
Potentially. But either way, it doesn't look like that's... We'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, I do want to point out that we've had some more donations. We've had $60 worth of donations in the meantime. One actually unfunded towards a goal. One towards, and then the rest were towards the glitch banner raffle. So we have surpassed our $1,500. So Mr. Yeti will be forced to eat more gross ice cream. So thanks to everybody who's donated so far. But in the meantime, though, Chaos falls the members of the defensive half, and the operator as well, gonna add to that suffering. So suddenly, this might be the momentum shift that you wanted, Aqua. That might be the beginning of the end, considering it's a 4v2 situation. And they have both the Tour de Force and the Annihilation online. Oh, and just like that. Oh my god, they're gonna end the suffering. Oh, but they're running it with the Vandal. Will cost them their life, and bring the lockdown online as well. It's just it's a meme fest left and right here, Aqua. The lockdown survives, though. So one of those players is going to get detained. So suddenly it's a 1v1 situation. They know where the last player, the detained player is, but do they know where Phoebe Wonder is? Such low HP. Alarm bot will make contact. And with the knife out, they actually get the defuse. They just threw the 4v2. Aqua. Aqua, they just want you to suffer. That's what these players are telling me.
I regret this. I regret everything.
You've cursed your own cast, my friend.
Keep happening to me.
Apparently my curses don't work, but I guess yours did. But regardless, I mean, that did show that if placed in the right part of the map, that the aggression out of the Sentinels can in fact follow through. So I do think that they have a chance of it happening again, and then if it gets close enough that they won't throw again. But this is the last chance before they go to sudden death and the sides swap. So I think either way, this is a winning game for the Sentinels, right? They either win this round and it's over, or they lose this round and it's a 4-4, but they're back on the defense, I think.
Yeah,
which is that they 4-0.
Right?
Yeah, I think it does swap, but for now, I mean, first blood and a half drawn by the defenders here with that operator. So now they're kind of forced to wait a little bit. I mean, the Sage is only one off the ultimate, so if they get a kill or they get an orb, they can res here. Question is, will they even be awarded that opportunity? Tweezy searching, and now they're even pinched potentially from the street pressure.
3v5 low health pool is not exactly an ideal situation.
Oh, but back turn on the operator. I think we are headed to a fourth, and oh my god. We are headed to sudden death here. This is the longest it could be of a map. And there it is, like I said, the end game, the sudden death. And look at this, of all odds,
Sudden death.
the Sentinels aren't on the defense. They're back on the attack. They have to do what has not been done of the 5 Sentinels.
We have to see a reverse sweep.
We might. I mean, the 5 Sentinel composition is the gamble. And I mean, we'll see if it comes up. Aces are not for them. Can we defense? Guys, I want to switch sides. See, I told you. I mean, you have 5 Sentinels. It makes sense. Yeah, I agree. I would not if I was them. Let them be on the defense. Well, just let us win this round first. I think it's over after this round, so...
Yeah, something like that. Hopefully.
Whew. Operator off the rip. Not going to quite find its impacted just yet. Otherwise, though, it is a different approach. We've seen them do 5-person executes towards the site. This time it's a little bit more of a defaulted approach so far. I'm hoping this will help them come out with dub.
Not much is happening though. Like, I don't think the Team Sentinels really knows what they want to do here.
Yeah. And so far, frag is going in favor actually of the Sentinels. Jade Shot able to open things up, finding Chimancy. They paved their way into this A site, but Spike is still on the B site. So I think they're trying to bait out these rotations. And my only concern is that they have less than a minute left while Spike is making a mad dash towards the A site. They still haven't addressed Twizzy here in tree, and just as I say that, they'll also fall. And just like that, it's another situation where it's a numbers advantage strongly in their disadvantage. Out of 5v2 situation, now a 5v1. If anybody could do it, it would be Phoenix. But they have the operator.
Surely
The
they don't
Annihilation.
throw this.
Oh my god, they're going hunting. They're pinned against a rock in a hard place. And look, it's gonna be the Annihilation to finish it up.
Planted.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is how it ends. This is how it ends. There's a knife fight. Respectful. Maybe. Maybe disrespect from the
comes out.
operator. Just knife, Phoenix. Come on. Go for the knife. Oh my god. And 3 players, a triangle of death of knives. For the flawless win, 5-4. The Sentinel composition does it on Ascent. Oh my goodness.
Out of all the matches, that was certainly one of them. However, I think that was like every single map that we've seen so far has been very like enjoyable to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Very interesting. Nothing has been like stale. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think some of my favorite players, right, were like Wet as Potato, because they were consistently bringing out the knife. They were consistently spicing things up. Other times, you know, I think Geos was a real trooper, especially with the knife only, embracing it with the Omen on split. And I mean, all of this was for charity. So thank you all to all the players. Thank you to all of our production. I want to point out that we've had LaggySon producing in the background. We've had RhinoVOD with the amazing observing. I know solo observing can be a little bit harder, but they made it enjoyable even with the cinematics thanks to the preset cams. So that was solo observing at its finest. But either way, what did you make of the experience? I know you said you don't cast Val very often.
I actually really enjoyed that, even though I didn't know really what was happening. It was fun to watch.
Part of the enjoyment.
Especially doing this for a good cause was really nice.
Yeah, and speaking of our good cause, we will point out our charity one more time. Which first things first, we're currently at $1,510 after the final donations, like I said. So you can go ahead and look forward to Mr. Yeti eating more of that bad ice cream. But yeah, we've been raising money for Gamers Outreach, which is a charity that empowers hospitalized children through video games, and they're working to build a world where play is easily prioritized alongside research and treatment. And I mean, the Tiltify campaign will definitely be up after this stream ends. So even though you might not be going towards the Swift Play incentives, you definitely will be giving towards a good cause. So consider checking them out.
Yeah, it'll be worth it, I think, personally.
Yeah.
However, that is everything that we have for you tonight. So I personally will be seeing all of you tomorrow.
Yep, I've been Zhobiii, this has been Aqua, and have a great night.